Welcome back to another episode of Conquering Vigo's Noisephobia. This is probably going to be the last update for a while because we're traveling. Where we last left off, we had started the noise party protocol with Dr. Cook. Alongside the training, we wanted to get some medication going for Vigo. The idea being that if we could kind of make him a little bit more comfortable, we could help the training go further. The first few days of medication were honestly more than I could have ever expected. He was hanging out with us during the day in the living room. He wasn't hiding. He was initiating play during the day. Things that just never happened for Vigo were happening, and I was so pleasantly surprised, honestly, because I've been very on the fence about medication for a long time. That said, a few days into the medication, he started to regress. He started to hide more, shake more again. I'm just editing this video, and one thing I forgot to say is that Vigo's also started doing this weird thing where when I stand up for any reason, he jumps up and will start barking and running towards the door and looking back at me as if I'm coming for backup. I'll put a video here so you know what I mean. Vigo, it's okay, buddy, relax. And I think it's important to have a side conversation now around the way that our vets have worked together. So because our behavioral vet was not available to work with directly, we ended up hiring her as a consultant to our vet. So she would basically recommend things to our vet, and our vet would then write the prescriptions. The behavioral vet recommended Reconcile and Alprazolam, which our vet did end up prescribing to us, but the dosage amounts differed between the behavioral vet's recommendation and the vet's recommendation. The Alprazolam she prescribed or recommended the behavioral vet was 0.5 milligram an hour before Vigo goes out and does anything. Our vet prescribed 0.25 milligram in the morning and in the night. The challenge with this was that at night Vigo was getting very hyper. He was wanting to play and run around, and he was more hyper than usual. And on digging into this, it seemed like this might be driven by the Alprazolam at night. So we chose to drop the Alprazolam at night and just do 0.25 in the morning. The other thing to add is that the behavioral vet had said that we should increase the dosage every 3 to 5 days, and she had a recommended amount of how much to increase it by. I can't remember how much she said, but our vet did not recommend us that. And so there's definitely a part of me that wonders if he's just used to the amount of Alprazolam in his system now, and so it's not doing what it was doing before for that reason, because we haven't been increasing the dosage. Vigo's been staying with my in-laws the last few days, and on top of regressing, there's been a day or two where he's been very sluggish, sleeping all day. And I don't know if it's the stress of not being with us, if it's the stress of not being at home. But my mother-in-law basically said, she was like, I don't think we should be giving him the Alprazolam because I think it's making him drowsy, which my understanding is it shouldn't do. But I'm like, look, I follow your lead, whatever you want. You're taking care of him. If you think that if that's best, go for it. But he hasn't been eating. He's been very drowsy. But also worth bearing in mind that my in-laws live in an apartment on a busy road. And I think that the echoing of the building and hearing different apartment buildings is freaking him out. So he's not been doing great. He's continuing to take the Reconcile because that is something that we have to give him every day because it builds up over time. I don't want to stop giving him that. But it's really been hard not being with him and seeing him regress and seeing him really struggle, I think, not being with us. So it is what it is. We're going to keep going. The training's on pause for now, too, while we're traveling. I don't feel comfortable asking my in-laws to do a noise party and teaching them how to do it. It just feels like a lot. So hopefully Vigo, he's in good hands. He's with people who love him. He'll be okay until we get back, but definitely going to hit this hard again once we return. So that's where we're at. I always expected this journey would be very up and down. So it feels like we're in kind of we went on a high from those early wins, and now we're kind of coming down and still trying to find our feet. Probably going to make an appointment with the behavioral vet at some point to have a call with her. So we'll see how it goes. As I said, it feels like we've kind of had 2 steps forward and 1 step back, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, let me know if you have any questions. I hope this helps.